Hello guys, we are going to continue talking about the water cycle, and today we are going to talk about condensation, dew point, and clouds. Condensation is something that you've actually already seen quite a many times in your life. For example, if you have a cool drink in your hand or an iced drink in your hand, you will see droplets of water forming on the outer surface of the cup or the can, and you will see it pouring down from that surface. This is condensation. Now, where did those droplets come from? They actually came from the surrounding air, and the result that we see as droplets form is known as condensation. So condensation is a process by which a gas becomes a liquid. So what happens is there's water vapor all around us, right? There's moisture in the air. And when that becomes liquid, we call it condensation. Now, before condensation can occur, there should be a condition that must be met. The air should be saturated, which means that the air must have an RH or relative humidity of 100%. And condensation occurs when saturated air cools down. Now, you've probably, this is another video where you can kind of observe how condensation occurs, or how air plays a factor in forming water droplets around the cup. It's a quick video that will help you understand the mechanism, which I do encourage you guys to watch. And after that comes dew point. Now, air can become saturated when water vapor is added to the air through evaporation, right? So when the temperatures are high or when the heat is high, water evaporates, right? It evaporates from water bodies like lakes, oceans, sea. It also evaporates from plants in a process called transpiration, which you've already learned about. And when the water evaporates, it becomes water vapor, right? And when it becomes water vapor, it mixes in the atmosphere and becomes moisture in the air. Now, air can also become saturated when it cools to its dew point. So the dew point is actually the temperature, or the point at which the gas actually condenses to a liquid. So the dew point is the temperature at which the gas condenses to a liquid. At its dew point, like we said, the air is saturated, right? Since the air becomes saturated when it cools down, right? So at its dew point, the air is saturated. The ice in the glass of the water actually causes the surrounding air to cool down. And when it cools down to its dew point, or the temperature at which the gas condenses to a liquid, the water vapor around that glass of ice water becomes liquidy. So it changes from gas, which was water vapor, to liquid, which is now water droplets. Before water vapor can condense, though, it is necessary to have a surface on which it can condense on. Because if there is no surface, it does not have a means by which it can actually present itself as a liquid. In the case of the glass of ice water, the water vapor condenses on the outside of the glass or outside of the cup, right? And finally, we learn about clouds. Now, I know when I was young, I used to wonder, what are clouds? Are they just fluffy marshmallow-like structure? What are they made out of? How do they form? Clouds are actually a collection of millions and millions of tiny water droplets or ice crystals. Clouds kind of form when warm air rises and cools. After the rising air cools, it becomes saturated, right? And when the air is saturated, we know that the water vapor changes to a solid or a liquid depending on the air temperature, right? If it's cool enough, it can become a liquid, but if it's super cold, it can become a solid. Like, it can change immediately from gaseous state, which is water vapor, to a solid state, which is ice crystals, or or even snowflakes when ice crystals kind of like connect with each other. At temperature above freezing, water vapor condenses on small particles in air and they form water droplets. Now, if it's above freezing, we know that it's not reached that point where it directly converts into a solid state. So it forms tiny water droplets. But if the temperature of the air is below the freezing level, it changes to a solid form directly, like into an ice crystal. And this is a video for you to watch that explains the formation of clouds and different types of clouds. And that is all we are going to learn about today. I hope you guys have a great day. And I will see you later. Bye.